I know there is a dedicated community of people that will not like what I'm about to say, so I want all the goddamn smoke. This is my opinion and I'm standing behind it. I hate furries with every goddamn fiber of my chest. These pathetic, delusional sacks of shit who prance around in their mangy-ass suits, yipping and meowing like they've got a fucking brain parasite that's convinced them they're not just sad humans but actual goddamn animals. It's not cute, it's not quirky, it's a fucking embarrassment to the species. I mean, who the hell wakes up and thinks, you know what? Today, I'm gonna strap on a tail, flop my floppy ears around and pretend I'm a fox or a wolf or whatever the fuck, and force everyone else to deal with my bullshit fantasy. Get a grip, you absolute morons. You're not expressing yourself. You're just being a colossal pain in the ass, ruining everyone's day with your cringeworthy roleplay that never fucking ends, and don't even get me started on how these freaks refuse to step out of the bit. Oh no, they can't just be a fucking human being for 5 goddamn minutes. Nah, they've got to embody the animal they think they are, barking at strangers, hissing like idiots, or worse, rubbing up against people like they're in heat. Then they drag this horseshit out in public, around actual fucking people who are trying to live normal lives. You're at the grocery store? Boom, there's a furry yowling in the produce aisle. On the bus? Some dipshit in a fursuit is panting and wagging their fake tail, making everyone uncomfortable as hell. It's a nuisance, it's invasive, and it's straight up predatory in the worst way. These assholes turn every space into their personal zoo exhibit, and the rest of us have to suffer through their unhinged LARPing. Fuck that noise. Grow the hell up and act like the Homo sapiens you are, you degenerate furballs. What pisses me off even more is how this pussy-ass fifi-protecting world we live in has bent over backwards to classify these mental cases as some legitimate kink or harmless identity, shielding them from any real criticism like they're a protected class. Suddenly, their weird animal obsession gets a pass because it's just how they express themselves. And now they've wormed their way into inventing bullshit like neo-pronouns, shit like fur/fur self, bun/buns, or whatever cutesy animal-themed garbage they dream up to make themselves feel special. It's all part of this massive main character syndrome they've got, where every furry thinks the universe revolves around their special snowflake persona, their custom pronouns, and their endless need for validation. They demand everyone else play along, police language, and tiptoe around their delusions like one wrong word will shatter their fragile egos. In a sane world, we'd call this narcissistic escapism or untreated identity issues. But nope, society's too scared of being called phobic to tell them to get over themselves. Instead, we get schools and workplaces forced to indulge this crap, turning normal people into unwilling extras in their personal fantasy RPG. It's entitlement on steroids, and it makes my blood boil. Stop making the rest of us cater to your made-up bullshit and realize you're not the protagonist of reality. You're just another annoying side character nobody asked for. Take this story from Utah, for example. A bunch of middle school kids in Payson walked the fuck out of class because these so-called furries were turning the place into a goddamn animal farm. We're talking biting, scratching, barking, chasing other students, actual assaults disguised as play. Over 500 signatures on a petition to enforce the dress code and boot these pests out. Because who the fuck wants to learn algebra while some twat in cat ears is spraying air freshener and meowing at you? The protesters were holding signs like, "We just wanted to learn," and I feel that in my soul. These furry fucks are disrupting education, turning schools into chaos zones. And the school tries to downplay it, saying it's just headbands, but come on, we all know it's escalating to full-on fursuit madness. Kids don't want to learn anything. This generation is fucking dumber than a shit on a sidewalk. When you got kids literally begging for education because of how much a disruption furries are, you know you got a problem. Expel them, ban them, whatever it takes. These animals, pun fucking intended, are a plague on society. And it gets even darker, because this furry shit isn't just annoying, it's often a fucking gateway straight to pedophilia, a sleazy underbelly where creeps hide behind costumes and cute animal personas to prey on kids. These conventions and online spaces normalize blurring lines between fantasy and reality, making it easier for predators to groom, exploit, and abuse the vulnerable. Just look at this horrific case. A man in a fox costume sexually abused a young boy multiple times over years at so-called furry parties, part of a network of abusers who used the furry scene as cover for their vile acts. Prosecutors detailed how the abuse started in 2009 and dragged on, with the perpetrator wearing that goddamn fox suit while committing these crimes against a child. It's not some isolated freak accident. The furry world attracts and shields these monsters, giving them a community where animal role-play excuses boundary-pushing behavior until it crosses into outright child exploitation. Once someone dives deep into that degenerate rabbit hole, it's a short slide from YIF porn to targeting real kids, because the whole fandom thrives on escapism that lets predators pretend their sickness is just harmless fun. Disgusting, predatory, and way too common. Furries open the door, and pedos walk right the fuck through. And listen up, you furry apologists lurking in the shadows. I'm not talking about anyone who cosplays or wears costumes. Fuck no, I love cosplaying. Dressing up as a Jedi or a superhero at Comic-Con. That's badass, that's fun, that's creative as hell. Halloween? Hell yeah. Go wild, scare the shit out of kids, whatever. The difference is, we know when to take the goddamn costume off and be a functioning member of society. We zip it up for the event, have our laughs, then strip it down and rejoin the real world like adults. But these fucking animals, they don't. They live in their suits 24/7, blurring the lines until they're just feral weirdos who can't tell fantasy from reality. It's not a hobby. It's a mental fucking disorder wrapped in faux fur and denial. In conclusion, furries, you make me want to puke. You're a blight on humanity, a walking, talking advertisement for why natural selection sometimes fails. Crawl back into your dens, shed your suits, get over yourselves, and try being human for once, you worthless, attention-whoring pricks. The world would be a better place without your yiffing bullshit stinking it up. Fuck you all.